Before we begin, I just want to say that I am extremely proud of those of you who turned in your assignment, your rough draft, complete on time without any of my help. I know this was a difficult paper to write, and I also just wanted to announce that in sixth grade, I am missing six rough drafts. In seventh grade, I'm missing 14, and in eighth grade, I am missing three. So you guys need to get those in as soon as possible because you are just going to fall behind more in your work, okay? So this is a short video. Well, it's going to be one of the longer videos on how to improve your intro. So what is an intro? What's the point of an intro? Hopefully you should know this by now, but it's the first thing that the reader reads, okay? It should be interesting. It should make them want to read more. If it's boring, they're not going to want to read the rest of your paper. I'm not going to want to read the rest of your paper. Okay, it sets you up for success or failure. It introduces your topic, your argument, your story, whatever. Obviously, for this video, we are going to be focusing on a type of intro you would include in a research paper. This is very different from, say, a narrative or a short story or an argument. It's completely different. So, the do's and don'ts. We're going to begin with the don'ts. Do not introduce yourself. You do not need to say, "Hi, my name is, and I'm going to tell you about this." You don't need to do that. Your name's on the paper. I know who you are. Don't introduce yourself. Don't act like you're talking. So if you were telling me in person, there's a lot of people I really want to do this assignment on, but I think I'm going to go with Harriet Tubman because she's just so awesome. Don't act like you're talking. You need to be a writer. You need to speak formally in your voice when you are writing, okay? And don't just jump right into the topic. You need to set it up, okay? You can't just say, Harriet Tubman was a very influential human being because, no, we need some background info. So here are the do's of what you should include in your intro. You should give background information. What is this essay going to be about? All of you should talk about women in your intro because it's on women's history, right? You need to be specific. Don't make me wait until the second paragraph to figure out who you are writing about. Say who you're writing about. Say what they're known for, okay? And you need to address the prompt. So if it asks about their childhood, their accomplishments, you need to sort of talk about that a little bit in your intro. And you need to map out the organization of your paper. If your intro isn't organized, then the rest of your paper isn't organized. And we'll get more into that in a minute. So, our first step in writing any paper is to read the prompt. So, this whole first part is kind of fluff, right? It says Women's History Month, research paper, famous ladies, 2 to 3 pages, and then it's just kind of giving you ideas. You can write about a singer, a leader, an athlete, but then here's where the prompt gets important. You must include their early life, the challenges they faced, their accomplishments, and how they have changed history. You must find two sources and incorporate evidence from these sources in your writing. The presentation we're not going to worry about for this video, but I did highlight what stood out to me. So this is setting up my paragraphs. I need to talk about their early life. I need to talk about the challenges they faced, accomplishments, and how they changed history. So I went over this on a Zoom with sixth grade. This was my plan. I need an intro. My second paragraph is going to be about their early life. My third paragraph is going to be about the challenges they faced. My fourth will be their accomplishments and how they changed history because those kind of go hand in hand. Obviously, their accomplishments are what changed history. And then I need a conclusion that takes all of this and summarizes my key points and restates my main idea. Okay? So now I'm going to plan my intro more specifically. And here are my do's. I need to give background information. So for my background information, I'm going to talk about Women's History Month briefly. I'm going to be specific and introduce Misty May Trainer, who she is. I'm going to address the prompt by lightly touching on each paragraph, her early life, her accomplishments, how she changed history, and that maps out the organization of my paper too. Okay? So here's a bad example. Hi, My name is Mary, and today I'm going to be writing my research report on Misty May Trainer. She's an awesome volleyball player who was actually born in Long Beach. She's a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, and she paved the way for many volleyball players. So I'm on topic here. I'm talking about a famous female. I talk about her early life. I talk about her accomplishments, but I'm not giving background information. I'm jumping right in, okay? And it's kind of disorganized. So here's a better example. Women's volleyball is on the rise, becoming a more popular sport both indoors and on the beaches. Someone who contributed tremendously to this growth in both sports is Long Beach State alumni Misty May Trainer. So again, I'm specific on who she is. I'm kind of introducing her early life. She played both sports. I'm talking about women, women's history, women's sports. But again, I'm missing organization. I'm missing being more specific. I'm missing even more background information. This is some, but not a lot. So this is better than my last one because I don't just jump right in. I give a little sentence on background information. Okay? Here is the best example that I have. Women have always needed to hurdle over barriers in all aspects of life, from being allowed to get an education, to earning the same amount as men, to even having the ability to run for president. The world of sport is no different. Men's sports have always dominated ESPN, international competitions, and the Olympics. However, 3-time Olympic gold medalist Misty May Trainer did not let her humble roots or her lack of opportunity stop her from becoming one of the greatest Olympians of all time. All right, this is my best example because I give background information, talking about women's history, right? I'm specific. And then I go into sports. I'm introducing Misty May Trainer. I'm talking about how she relates to the world, right? The accomplishments she made, how she changed history. So men's sports always dominated, but she is going to win the Olympics 3 times, okay? So I'm specific about her. I'm talking about her background. She has humble roots. I'm talking about the challenges she faced, her lack of opportunity, and then her achievements and how she changed history. It didn't stop her from becoming one of the greatest Olympians of all time. So this is level expert for sure, okay? I do not expect this from you guys, rough draft, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. Maybe not even until you're a junior in high school. I would not expect something like this. But it's good to see good writing and to read good writing because it's only going to make your writing better. Okay? So now I'm going to share 3 of the good examples that I have read so far from all of you. And this is anonymous, but I'm telling you right now, they're good. Okay? This is what I expect from you. So, this first student example is on Sojourner Truth. There have been many influential and empowering women throughout our history. Some have changed society, and some have even changed the world. Whether you were talking about Rosa Parks, who stood up for equal rights, or Marie Curie, who was the first woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize. There are many amazing women out there who have changed the society, but one that stands out to me the most is Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth was a very bold and honest woman. She fought against injustice and unequal rights. She was also known as a hardworking person who did her best at any task. I admire her a lot because she was a civil and noble woman. Yes, there have been many American abolitionists, but this one has an amazing story of how she stood up for inequality and women's rights. Okay, so this is a little bit wordy, it's a little bit repetitive, but they introduce the topic. They're talking about women, okay? They're specific about Sojourner Truth. They could have this a little bit more organized, but they're hitting pretty much all the stuff, okay? This is a very good example. Number 2, Katherine Johnson was born on August 26, 1918. She was born in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She lived with her father, Joshua Coleman, and her mother, Juliette Coleman. She is best known as being a mathematician who helped NASA in the U.S. space program. She died sadly this year on March 24, 2020, at the age 101. Without her, NASA wouldn't be able to get Neil Armstrong to the moon. Without her, we would have ended up losing the space race. Okay, so this is very specific and it's kind of jumping right in right away. But if we were to switch this around and make it kind of a little more, without one woman, NASA would not be able to get Neil Armstrong to the moon. We would not have won the space race, and a lot of other mathematical problems would not have been solved. And then go in with Katherine Johnson was a mathematician who helped NASA. That could improve this one. But this is still pretty good, okay? It jumps in too quickly, but still good. And our third student example also wrote about Katherine Johnson. Katherine Johnson is such an important person to the world that everyone should know who she is. She was practically the main person who sent John Glenn into orbit, Alan Shepard, and Neil Armstrong to the moon. She won 3 awards, one being the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the second one being the Congressional Gold Medal, and the last one being the NASA Group Achievement Award. She's also such an influential person because she showed that no matter who you are, you can do anything. This is awesome. You can tell this person did their research. Some of this information might be too specific for an introduction paragraph. They also should introduce the topic a little bit better rather than everyone should know who it is, but still pretty good. So these are people who are your peers. This is what you're up against. If you don't have intro paragraphs that look like this, you're not doing the level, the expectation that I have for you. Okay? Let me know if you have any more questions. I expect everyone, including these 3 students who are anonymous, to make changes to their introductory paragraphs before they turn them in today. Okay?